Do you wanna be one of those cold companies that gets no clients, or do you wanna be one of those hot companies that gets a bunch of clients? Well, one way of doing that is telling stories, and yes, AI potentially could tell you a story, but it can lose you in telling you the story, and we're hanging out with Elaine Mingus, who's gonna help us to understand a little bit about how to use AI in the right way, and at the same time, not be cold based on her huge knowledge of marketing and storytelling. Elaine, what's up?
Hey, how are you doing? Well, I do. I love AI and I love storytelling, and so these are two of my favorite things mashed together in one single podcast. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's get to it. So talk to us about, not being a cold company, not being one of those companies who just uses AI and loses potential customers as a result. Give us a story.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I to say that this we are in just such a dynamic, changing everyday AI world, and you're seeing people use AI more and more. They're going to use it right, and then they're going to also misuse it because there is no AI etiquette book right now, which maybe we should write that because that would be a
Mm,
really good one to
yeah,
use.
seriously. Yeah.
But the thing is that you're seeing brands, especially with the Hey Gen, the avatars that are like you, but not you, come on the
Mhm.
scene and giving just data and facts. And people are starting to lose trust in the AI, models or that the people that are talking that you think as soon as they hear them make a mistake, because AI does make mistakes and doesn't totally encapsulate what it is to be human. And so, you want to use AI in a way that is both, you know, impactful for your brand or your business, but that doesn't lose or that and make causes distrust in your potential, client base. And so, that is just something that we're all going to have to honestly fumble through. I mean, we're all going to make mistakes with that. And but there's definitely some ways to do it right and to do it wrong that we've learned thus far. We'll continue to create our own knowledge base on AI etiquette here.
Mhm. Oh, well, what about the argument of well, I don't want to have human interaction with my company and clients because it's expensive to hire humans, et cetera. Versus if I deploy a AI bot, it could communicate with a client at a cheap cost. Me as a business owner, I like the thought of low cost, but at the same time, I want to get more clients. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's the same age old debate between quantity and quality. You're always going to have the businesses out there that are going to seek quantity and they will sacrifice quality. And then you'll have the businesses that are focused on quality and are willing to sacrifice quantity of sales. And so you have to decide as a business owner which you want to be. And there is no wrong or right answer here. But for me personally, I want to create a quality business, and that means that I'm going to have to figure out ways that I use AI, and that means that I might not be, the biggest and the best. Now, if I could figure out how to do it on both ends, I'm sure there's a nice happy balance where you're like perfectly using it, and so that's really the aim here. So I don't think that you have to use it like all the time, but you need to definitely in your businesses be using it some of the time because without it, you're going to be left with in the dust.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not using artificial intelligence, you're gonna be a relic, old relic thing of the past. So then what I mean, this is a hard question, but what's the right amount in your opinion? And I know you're gonna say it depends, but like you basically already said, but what is the right amount? Because there has to be kind of a happy medium. How do you come to that conclusion? So I'm gonna ask for you to answer a hard question.
Yeah. So I mean, I use AI all the time in my business. I have mini chat that will auto DM people, when they ask for, a PDF download that I offer or anything like that. But I also, at this point, I'm able to look at the the conversations. And so as you're looking at those conversations, when you're starting to use AI, you can start saying, okay, this is what a normal person responds back. What can I put into my AI database or knowledge base to respond most like me so that I'm not
Mhm.
losing those customers. So I think especially when you're implementing it to just be don't just it's not a set it and forget it thing. It's one that you're going to have some sort of quality assurance check on a regular basis so that you are balancing out AI and human interaction beautifully.
Mm. So then, yeah, I totally understand that. So then I'll ask this. So we use here at vastsolutionsgroup.com, by the way, we've been doing AI for years. So we use a chat bot. It's called Einstein. I know it's a weird name. We use Einstein when people call in. And we basically have it answer a few questions and then point you in the right direction. What do you think of that versus having someone who answers the phone? So is a a human answering the phone, which sometimes might answer politely, sometimes might not answer politely. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on that one?
Well, I think it's the same as when you started having the automated voice, when you call a doctor's office, it's like press one, think, pay attention because the numbers have recently changed. And you're like, really? Have they changed? But
Yeah.
you're going to be, somebody's going to be irritated no matter what you do, whether you have a real person or an AI or, automated system. And so just finding, the fact that like you can't please everybody. But as you know, there are automated systems in almost every single place you call. You can't call a restaurant directly most of the time anymore. You can't call like it is going to be used. So if you're not using it, I mean, you're still going to be sitting there paying someone to answer the phone and do things. So I don't personally mind using an AI bot like when I am typing, and I actually don't necessarily know if I want to always talk to a real person because I just want to like say, hey, I have this problem, da da da, and it gives me a sense of like I don't have to watch my P's and Q's. I can just type. I don't have to my typos, I don't have to correct because AI is gonna know exactly what I'm talking about anyhow. So it allows me a little bit of freedom for that. But eventually if my problem is complex enough, I am going to want to talk to a real live person. Um, unless AI just becomes absolutely, smarter than humans, which, maybe, and
Yeah.
gets that. But right now, you still are going to have to at some point say, okay, this is the cutoff. This is when, we need a human to human connection here.